second here. What's up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wilde here again. Um, so I did a live show earlier in the hour, actually, after kind of a post game show after the Eagles' big win against the Buffalo Bills. I wanted to do another one. Um, Full disclosure here, this is only my third or fourth live stream, so I'm kind of fixing the kinks, which is why I'm back for another show. Also, for the first time ever, I posted the link to this live stream on my actual Facebook page, which I haven't done because this is kind of an outside uh, project outside of professional wrestling, and I was trying to keep it that way. However, I'm just kind of interested to see how many views and things like that I get from this, from my actual page. So, if you're watching, the secret's out. I've been doing this channel all year since the summertime, talking about the Eagles. As most people that know me personally know, I'm a huge Eagles fan. So, I've been posting reactions, previews, reviews, any kind of Eagles news. But I know for the people that are watching now, because of the title, Miles Sanders X-ray results. I don't know if most Eagles fans heard, but Miles Sanders had X-rays done on his shoulder when he went to the locker room. That's what happened. And according to news reports from Miles Sanders himself, the X-ray results on his shoulder came back negative, and that he should be fine. And then he added the words "hopefully." So some good news, but then again, once you add the "hopefully" at the end of it, of course, as the Eagles fans know, you're kind of like, eh. Kind of reminds me of Deshaun Jackson being close, as we've heard for weeks. So, Matt Weezy, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining the live stream here, talking Eagles' big victory versus the Bills. And in my first live stream of the day, I kind of asked the question, like, how big of a win do you think that this really is, considering that the Buffalo Bills haven't played anybody, and that the 5-1 record might be a little bit of a fraud? To me, I shit on that concept. I mean, it's the NFL. Anytime you win, except if you're playing the Jets, it's a hard earned victory to get. It's hard to win in the NFL. And against the Buffalo Bills, they have a top three defense. I mean, their defense is lights out. We saw a bit of that today, but their defense is amazing. And for the Eagles to do what they did against that defense, and Carson Wentz again showing why. He is an elite quarterback, like it or not, in the NFL. I think this is a huge win. Confidence level wise, obviously it brings you to 4-4, which you don't want to be 3-5 in the NFC. I think that's huge, and just the way that they won and the way that the game started out for me was I didn't feel good all week, and I didn't feel good going into the game until the second quarter. Let me see. I'm kind of looking at comments here. Matt, man, I hope. Sorry to hear about the cancer surgery. I hope that everything went well. Um, and yeah, man, that's great that the Eagles could bring you some joy while sitting in that hospital bed. And yeah, you're right. On the road, it is hard to win on the road, and the Eagles can blame. You know who the Eagles can blame for this road schedule is the Philadelphia Phillies. They can blame the Philadelphia Phillies for this because the schedule makers are looking at the Phillies after they got Bryce Harper and some of the uh, players that they had got at the offseason and going, well, the Phillies are going to make the playoffs, whether it's the wild card or they're leading the division. So the Eagles can't be playing while the Phillies are playing, and we all saw what happened to the Phillies. So that's why the Eagles they're the only team in the NFL that has three straight road games. The only team. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But they're the reason for. I mean, and not just the NFL has no mercy. It's not like they just had three straight road games. They had three straight road games against the Minnesota Vikings, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Buffalo Bills. If you're going into Minnesota, Dallas, and Buffalo, Buffalo's got crazy ass fans. Maybe crazier than Philadelphia fans, but Jesus, I mean, it's insane. It's really crazy. But we were able to get one victory out of the 3. Again, I'll take it at this point. The Cowboys losing to the Jets a couple weeks ago kind of helps things out. But, man, this win was huge. It was huge. And at the beginning of the game, it didn't feel that way. The offense kind of sputtered, didn't get much done. The defense kind of did what the defense did. They looked a little bit better, and I said this before. Do you realize that we had Anthony Rush starting as a defensive tackle? Not Malik Jackson, not Tim Jernigan, not even Hassan Ridgeway. Anthony Rush, a rookie that was just on a practice squad of the Oakland Raiders. And truth be told, this guy probably came home after practice and every day took his cell phone and threw it away. Took it and threw it. Hit it so that he didn't get that call that he was cut. And now the Eagles pick him up and he's starting. It's just unreal. The injuries have really killed the Eagles again for the second year in a row. And really, you can count 2017 too. They were able to overcome that, I think, because of all the great coaches that they had. But this year, the injuries have been bad. And Miles Sanders. Let's talk about Miles Sanders. So, if you go back to some of my other videos on this channel of mine, I have a live reaction to when Miles Sanders was drafted, and I was overcome with joy. I really wanted them to grab Miles Sanders. The year starts. We hear about how he looks in preseason and in camp. I was there at camp. He looked great. Season starts, and he's just not getting anywhere running the ball. He's not seeing holes. He's trying to jump to the outside too much. However, he's able to catch the ball in the slot like he did in Penn State. And wheel routes and things like this, and he was really productive as a receiver. Then today happens, and all of it comes together. He catches the football well. The big, probably one of the biggest plays of the game, runs for 65 yards for a touchdown. And let me tell you this, Eagle fans that are listening or watching, a little bit of information here. That was the longest run that the Philadelphia Eagles had and this is going to blow you away, the longest run that they had since Bryce frigging Brown in 2013. It's insane. But he had that big run. He's running the football well. Everything is going great. 2-point conversion. And Miles Sanders looked like he's ready to take this game away. And then what happens? We cut to him running to the locker room, kind of with his arm dangling. And when I saw that, being a professional wrestler and having, we all have our injuries when we wrestle. I knew it was a shoulder. And if you're just joining me now, results were negative on Miles Sanders' shoulder. However, he did say something that was a little bit concerning to me when he said he should be fine, hopefully. That hopefully concerns me, because it shouldn't be hopefully. If you know, you know. Let me go back to the comments here. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Bring on the home games. Jordan Howard, number 24. I am a huge Howard guy. Absolutely run the shit out of him. The only thing that I hate about Jordan Howard is how he kind of always runs right into people. It's like he's rather running up the gut and getting positive yards, or he's running into a bunch of linemen. But that's the way to win. And you know what the biggest thing here, besides Miles Sanders and running, I think in the second half altogether I think they had well over 200 yards rushing. But to me, the biggest thing about this game, and I mean, look, man, it's football from as early as you watch football. One of the biggest things you have to do to win is not commit turnovers. And the Eagles did not commit any turnovers today, besides the Boston Scott fumble. Okay, withstanding the offense, Carson Wentz, everybody took care of the football. No interceptions, no fumbles. The other team, not so much. The other team, our defense for once. And again, I really applaud the defense, because if you watch me, I will slam the defense all the time. I absolutely will. I don't like the scheme. I don't like the fact that the cornerbacks play off the wide receivers. But I'm telling you right now, man, this defense came in with an edge today. Maybe it was Orlando Scandrick's comments that did it, but they came in wanting to win and wanting to make plays. Fletcher Cox with the strip sack that the Buffalo Bills recovered earlier in the game, and then the big one by Derek Barnett that set up that touchdown, and the Eagles didn't look back after that. Huge. Ronald Darby played an absolutely horrible game until that happened, and he had a big fourth down swat. But this defense actually came to play today. A defensive line that is as depleted as you will find in the NFL. They took the run game away. Frank Gore had a couple good runs. But after that, there was nothing. They absolutely took the run game away. And I couldn't tell you who starts as a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, off the top of my head. I just can't because it seemed like there was nothing to them. You barely heard Jalen Mills' name. Sidney Jones was in for a couple plays, and of course he got burnt like he always does. But other than that, man, this defense they shut shit down when they had to. They really did. Um, so again, if you're just watching, Miles Sanders, X-ray results negative, and I think that's a big thing, man, because this kid, he's got a lot of heart. Locally, if you watch him at Penn State, he backed up Saquon Barkley. He's a playmaker, man. He really is, and he's a rookie, so he's had a rookie year. But today it was a milestone game for this guy. To see him go out and get hurt like that, I mean, it was a complete Eagles thing though, because it seems like we can't catch a break with these injuries. You name another team, and maybe I'm just being ignorant because I don't know every team's roster, obviously, but think about the guys that they've lost: Jason Peters, Deshaun Jackson, Darren Sproles, Tim Jernigan, Malik Jackson, Hassan Ridgeway, Ron Darby for some time, Cravon LeBlanc, Avante Maddox. These are all starting players. This is a team that literally is willing their way to just get on the field. We're worried about Carson Wentz getting injured. Everybody else has. But that doesn't excuse the way the offense has performed the past couple games, because really, you lose Jason Peters, but Andre Dillard has absolutely held up, in my opinion. He had a bad game against Minnesota because he came in not expecting to play. The Cowboys, that whole game, everyone on that team played horribly, and he played decently against a tough Buffalo Bills defense in a hostile and volatile environment. Absolutely did. But so going back to my original point, other than Jason Peters and Deshaun Jackson, they have other weapons. Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey. These are guys that should be making plays. I don't know what has happened to Zach Ertz, but he had a couple big plays today. But other than that, he's not the guy that was catching 162 passes last year. He's 3 touchdowns. It's just not. He needs to do. And guys that are watching, feel free to comment. Please, let's discuss this. I do a lot of videos on here, and I'll do another one later, kind of edited, talking about the big win and what's coming next. But I like to discuss. My whole thing is, man, I want to discuss the game with other Eagles fans, because quite frankly, my family and friends get tired of hearing me vent and spout off. But we've all got feelings about this stuff, all of us. So let's talk about it. But J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, nothing. Jersey, clean again. No catches, no contributions. But you're watching DK Metcalf, who got drafted after him on the Seattle Seahawks, absolutely have great games. 2 touchdowns today. Slayton, I don't know his first name, but Slayton from the Giants. Another 2-touchdown game. And our rookie does nothing. Second-round rookie, nothing. Something's got to happen. Somebody's got to be held accountable. And speaking of wide receivers, why is Mac Hollins on this football team? All I hear is he's good at special teams. Well, that's great and all, but there are a lot of guys good at special teams. That doesn't mean they have to be a starting wide receiver. He brings nothing to this offense. Carson Wentz is going into the game with really one wide receiver, and that's Alshon Jeffrey, because Nelson Aguilar you can't count on. Okay, at one point Nelson had caught 4 for 4 targets, but he only had 7 yards. You can't count on him to make plays anymore. You can't count on any of these guys. So yeah, this brings me into my next thing. And I've got a couple people watching now. I'm sure you saw the title, so I'll just tell you: Miles Sanders' X-ray results are negative on his shoulder. He thinks he's going to be fine, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But the next thing I want to talk about was Howie Roseman. In my opinion, Howie Roseman has really hurt this team the past 3 weeks. Again, he can't help the guys that are hurt. You can't help that Malik Jackson gets hurt. You can't help that Deshaun Jackson gets hurt. Tim Jernigan. These are things that you can't predict. However, you know that Darren Sproles. Are we guys? People watching, please tell me: is anybody surprised that Darren Sproles is on the injury report? Are we? Are we really? No, we knew it. We knew it was going to happen. Deshaun Jackson, we knew he'd miss a couple games, not as many. But these are things that we know as pedestrian fans that don't make a living at this stuff. So how come these guys that do make livings at this can't? Maybe we shouldn't have signed Aaron Sproles. Maybe we should have found something better. Maybe we should have. And again, Deshaun is I'm a big Deshaun Jackson fan, but maybe there was somebody else. Why do we only have one deep threat on this football team? One. That's it. And that's Deshaun Jackson. He's out. So Howie Roseman has to make that up to us tomorrow and or Tuesday. Carl Ray, what's up, dude? Yeah, it is great news. It really is because, and I hope it doesn't turn into, and I'm talking about the Miles Sanders injury. I hope it doesn't turn into what Doug says every week about Deshaun. Oh, he's getting close. Deshaun Jackson is this year's Darren Sproles. Remember last year, every week. Oh, he's getting close. He's almost there. He's getting close. Oh, he's conditioning. So I hope it doesn't turn into that. I really don't. I hope Miles can go next week against the Bears. I really do because he was an important part of this win today. And I think as the weeks go on and his confidence grows and he continues to learn the offense and perfect the offense, the coaches are going to see that. And the coaches are going to know how to use this guy. I mean, he's a rookie, the rookie running back. Brian Westbrook wasn't an all-pro his first year, but we saw flashes, kind of like we're seeing in Miles Sanders right now. So I just hope he's there. Jose, you're right. We did need to play like this against the Cowboys. And I'm not sure why we didn't, honestly, because there were times. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of us are, man. And that's why, like, I'm mad as shit about the Cowboys game because coming into this game, there was nothing that gave me any hope that the Eagles could win this game. For the first time in a long time, I didn't see any positive. You know, all I thought of was, well, Buffalo has a top 3 defense. They have a defense better than the Cowboys' defense. How are we going to score against them? And I thought that. So, okay, and now, okay, I don't know if I'm still with you guys or not. Again, this is, man, I'm just now getting used to the streaming stuff. I wish I could stream straight through my phone so I don't have to deal with this stuff. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Such user experience. But so yeah, the Dallas Cowboy game. It was just one of the worst games I've seen the Eagles play in a really, really long time. You probably have to go back to the Cincinnati game in 2016 because that was pretty bad too. So hey man, I'm sorry if you guys are experiencing buffering. Yeah, Jose, dude. I was surprised that the Eagles put 31 against them, because like you said, there's no expectations of the outcome, right? So, and I didn't feel comfortable to that. I saw that 31. I really didn't, man. I really didn't. And again, this is a defense. The Bills' defense. You can say what you want about their schedule, but they absolutely made Tom Brady look pedestrian, even though the Patriots won that game. But they got a good defense. They have a really, I mean, I can't say it enough. And let's talk about our quarterback for a minute. Let's talk about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets a lot of unnecessary hate in this city and nationally because we seem to forget that through 2017, before he got hurt at the very, very end of the season, he was a main part of getting the Eagles home field advantage. But Nick Foles came out and had you see the picture behind me, the Sports Illustrated cover. Had an unbelievable run and was a Super Bowl MVP. So he'll always hold something in our hearts. But people just have a weird hatred towards Carson Wentz, or they're expecting a lot out of the dude. Look, man, he, again, in an offense that doesn't give him much, he took advantage of what he had today. He really did. There were times when he had to audible out of plays. There were times, fourth quarter, faked the screen pass and took off. He ran when he had to. He was fearless. If you can see in this, I'm a big Wentz guy, but I will slam him when he's bad. I don't like how he kind of bird dogs receivers. But he did his thing today. He really, really did his thing today. And just led this team to a victory, man. He really did. 3rd and 10, dude, they call a quarterback draw, and he takes it. One of my favorite plays of the game, and this is well, not many people will talk about this. It was a 3rd and 1, and when it's 3rd and 1, the Eagles do the quarterback sneak. We all know that. I know it. You know it. The coaches knew it of the Bills. Uh, and he comes out, he does like a Peyton Manning style audible. So now the defense is going, well, shit, this probably isn't going to be a quarterback sneak. And he gets quarterback sneaks in anyway. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know if that was him. It was designed that way. But just a brilliant play by Carson Wentz, number 11. Awesome, awesome stuff by this guy. And he's playing good football right now. He really is. He's playing good football right now. And we don't give him enough credit. So people are coming in and out of this live feed. So you probably want to know. Miles Sanders' X-ray results are negative. Negative. So no big time damage there. Let's just hope that this guy can play next week against the Chicago Bears. Another guy that is really, really, I'm sure, circled this date and really wanting to play these Bears is number 24, Jordan Howard. And I've been beating the desk for Jordan Howard to get more. And actually, this isn't a desk. I'm actually sitting in my home bar. I call 4133. But anyway, I've been beaten down trying to get this guy more carries. And obviously, when you're down 14-0 in the first quarter or 10-0 in the first quarter, you're constantly down. It's going to be hard to get the ball. But they did what they had to do. Why we traded for him showed today. End of the game, second half, Jordan Howard just bull rushing guys, and really had a productive game today. As did Miles Sanders, who again, X-ray results are negative. But he is against Chicago. There's nobody on that team that wants to play the Bears more than Jordan Howard, because if you have followed this guy, he did a lot of things in the community for Chicago. He was a Pro Bowl running back for them. I mean, last year I think he had 973 total yards. They started using Tariq Cohen more. 2 years before that, he had over 1,000 yards. So I'm sure it came as a shock and surprise that they were even talking about trading him, but they did. So he is going to be a big focal point next week, I believe. And it would be awesome if you could have Miles Sanders in that 2 running back set like they did today. Beautiful block on that 65-yard run by Miles Sanders. Jordan Howard's doing it all. He really is. He is, to me, has always been a younger LeGarrette Blount. I love LeGarrette Blount too. Definitely looking forward to next week. And, I just wanted to also hit on something about next week. This team could look a little bit different next week against the Bears. Again, man, guys, don't feel... please comment. Don't be afraid to comment. I run my mouth a lot, but I'll look at your comments and definitely answer any questions, especially for a new audience. Again, this is the first time I've put out a link to any of my videos on this channel on my wrestling Facebook page. And for those of you who don't know, I am a professional wrestler, and I'm also a diehard Eagles fan. So mixing the two together has been pretty cool so far. I'm just starting to get into this live stream gimmick and business. And it's cool to connect with Eagles fans. The ones I've connected to already just in this chat alone have been good. But so let's talk about Howie Roseman. Again, guys, Miles Sanders' X-ray results are negative. Thank goodness. What's Howie going to do at the trade deadline? It's Tuesday at 4 o'clock. What do we need? What are our biggest needs on this team? I think the biggest need on this football team, just because of the injuries to the position, is defensive tackle. We need a tackle. We need somebody for this defensive line, right? Who are the names out there? You got Geno Atkins, the name they're throwing out there. If you look at the next 3 years, his contract, he's making a lot of money. I just can't see it happening unless they restructure. Leonard Williams from the Jets, possibility. You've got Joe Douglas running the show down there, who is our boy. Maybe we could hook something up with him. He knows these players a little bit more on the Eagles, so maybe he knows who we might want in exchange, as well as I'm sure some draft picks. And then there's a guy like Bo Allen that you could probably get for cheap from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I brought up in the earlier live stream Von Miller. Let's see what happens there. He would be a big name. You'd have to give up a lot, but why not at this point? After defensive tackle, I think the biggest need is wide receiver. Because, after Alshon, who do you got? Carson can't... can you imagine being the quarterback And every time you throw the ball to a guy, he drops the ball, or he's not there, or he doesn't run the route right. I mean, you're confident. It messes with your quarterback's confidence as well. So you got to do. Look, the New England Patriots knew they needed a wide receiver. What did they do? They signed Antonio Brown. Obviously, he had his things. That didn't work out. If you go back a year before, they signed Josh Gordon, and then Mohamed Sanu, and they gave up a second round pick, which probably destroys the wide receiver market for everybody. But it is what it is. Uh, if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at again Robbie Anderson from the New York Jets. Howie Roseman and Joe Douglas have a close relationship, so Howie can't disrespect them and lowball them on an offer. But I can't see why a deal can't be made there. If you could get, and this doesn't happen in football a lot, but if you can get like a mega deal, like I'm talking Robbie Anderson and Leonard Williams for whatever, couple, package the picks and the players, I think that would be friggin' awesome. If not Robbie Anderson, I like Devontae Parker a lot. Uh, Despite the Miami Dolphins being absolutely horrible, he's been really good. Um, and then for AJ Green, I think he's definitely not going to want to go to an 0-8 team or play for an 0-8 team. So my only issue with him is he injured? Is he still injured, or is this kind of like a Jalen Ramsey bullshit injury at this point? I don't know. Anybody out there have any ideas on anybody we could trade for in any of those two positions? Because the next position I'm going to bring up, I just don't think they're going to make a deal. Um, because I don't know if it would help with the kind of defense that Jim Schwartz plays. Uh, and that's cornerback. And before I get to that, Jose, who do I prefer more out of the two? If you're talking about Robbie Anderson, Devontae Parker, Robbie Anderson, um, I think he fits the offense. He absolutely fits the offense. I believe he's younger. I think he's just more dynamic, and also he's local, Temple, so I might give him a little bit more. I mean, I'm being petty at that point. Um, yeah, Robbie Anderson, man, Robbie Anderson. He looks good in green. Get him here. Don't get me wrong, Devontae Parker's awesome too, man. I mean, as far as he's played on some shitty Miami Dolphins teams the past couple years, and has some pretty good numbers. Either one, man. But again, I'm slightly leaning towards Robbie Anderson, but either one I'd be happy with. Uh, but talking about cornerback, the corners that are out there, the Eagles are being linked to. Patrick Peterson, they've already tried to get. I just don't think that's going to happen for whatever reason. The Cardinals want to continue to employ him. They're rebuilding. They should get rid of him. And I think he's 30. He might be 29. But get some picks. Rebuild your team. Um, Robbie Anderson, Josh Norman's out there. I heard Darius Slay from the Lions is out there wanting to be traded, which is weird for me because the Lions are still very much in the mix. But they already traded one person out of their secondary, but Slay's not happy. I think he would look good in Eagles green. But like I said, does it? And if you go back, if you're new to me and you go back and look at some of my videos, I was really pissed off when they didn't get Jalen Ramsey. I was really upset because here's an all-pro corner, absolute game changer, a guy that just doesn't come around a lot, and you have a chance to get him and you don't. This really pissed me off. But at the same time, you look at Jim Schwartz, and at any at any time you look at his defense, and these cornerbacks are playing so far off the wide receivers that it's just nuts. But it would be nice to get some cornerback that I don't have to watch getting burnt. There was a play today, if it wasn't for the wind, it would have been a Buffalo touchdown. Ron Darby getting burned again. Getting tired of seeing it. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. Again, I can't. I could see how he getting a defensive end too. I don't know who's out there, but he's got to do something, man. It is a big, 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 big couple days for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just as big as this game was. I think if the Eagles didn't win today, they definitely weren't going to make any trades. Also, I kind of feel like Big V is going to get moved. I think he might not be on the team. Which to me, you're playing with fire because we already down Jason Peters. Dillard goes down. Then what do we got? So again, if you just started watching, I'm 30 minutes in, but Miles Sanders' X-ray results are negative. He went to the locker room today in the midst of a breakout career type day. Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. Sidney Jones. I'm glad you brought him up, man. Sidney Jones is a complete bust. Absolute bust. You are absolutely right, Jose. He is. I would rather see. I would rather see. Let me think about this. I would rather see Bradley Fletcher out there. Okay? I would rather have them bring back Asante Samuel, who's probably close to 45 years old, out on the field instead of Sidney Jones. He's horrible. He's an absolute bust. He was out on the field a couple times today, and every time he was on the field, the quarterback went right to whoever he was covering, and of course they caught the ball. He is just horrible. I mean, he is what a horrible. I would hate to look at, and I probably will for some from research later of who got drafted after him. I mean, it's. I hate that, man. Today, all the game breaks. It seemed like Gardner Minshew doing big things in Jacksonville. We had a shot at him, but we took Clayton Thorson instead, who's now on the Cowboys practice squad because he got cut. I brought up the wide receivers. I mean, we're just not drafting well at all. So give up the picks that you have to get. Get some help in here. Let's do it. So the Eagles, guys, just to recap, Eagles big win over the Buffalo Bills. Defense stood up against a subpar offense, but the offense put up some points against a really, really, really good defense, and they did it the way that we've been telling them to do all season. Run the damn ball. Run the ball. Run the ball with Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott got in there. And let's go. Let's get this thing going, man. Let's really get this thing going. Because we're only a game behind the Cowboys. Honestly, I think it's half a game because they're on bye. But we got to play them again. Their schedule's going to get a little tougher. After we play the Patriots and the Seahawks, our schedule gets a lot easier. Even though I'm a little bit, honestly, man, I don't think the Giants are a layup like I thought in the beginning. I think they're going to be tough. But yeah, I mean the schedule. If you look at the Cowboys and the Eagles schedule, man, it's a lot easier. They're going to have all. They're going to play the Minnesotas. They're going to play teams like this that we've had to play already from the NFC North. And we're going to have some of the. We're going to have the Miamis and another game against Washington, 2 against the Giants. Consistency. Jose hit it right on the head. Exactly. Just need consistency, man. Consistent. Be consistent. If you're going to run the ball like you did today, let's do it next game. And I know all teams are different. All defenses are different. But they played the 2 games that they won against good teams were against the Packers and against obviously the Bills. And the Eagles ran the football against both those teams. And guess what? They won. And now what we did today is if there was any question before, even though he went into Lambeau on a Thursday night on a short week and beat the Packers, Carson Wentz goes into Buffalo against a top-ranked number 3 defense and wins. Carson Wentz can win on the road against a good team. So Elliott Shore-Parks and a lot of the guys at WIP, if you listen to that radio station, they can all suck it because I think Carson definitely showed that he can do that today. So I think he really put that offense on his back, man. I really do. Take away the huge run by Miles Sanders. I mean, he really managed the game, a complete game. So yeah, man. I mean, just a great win. Just an absolute great win. Jake Elliott missed an extra point. That was about the worst thing that really happened to the Eagles today, as far as X's and O's wise. And before I go, man, what about that ballsy play by Doug Peterson? I was cussing him for it. When he decided to, you just score a touchdown. You're about to go up 10-7, and you decide to go for 2 instead. I mean, I'm cussing him because I'm going, you guys missed this. And, worst case scenario, let's say nobody scores again until the last play, and now, the Bears have a chance with a field goal to go on top. But Dougie proved me wrong, got the 2-point conversion, and was up 11-7. Really good. And then obviously Jake Elliott misses later, so the point doesn't matter. But it ended up helping. But then Buffalo missed the extra point too, so it ended up rounding out. But yeah, man, just a ballsy move there against a good defense. Again, you're not going up against a shitty defense. that you can do that to. You're going up against a top-ranked defense on the road in a volatile stadium. I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but that place is insane. Their fans, the tailgates. This is how crazy their tailgates are. If you get caught going through a friggin' table, you're banned from the stadium. Those are their rules. Can you imagine? Now we obviously had a courthouse at the vet, but oh my god. Yeah, Jose, dude, if we don't convert that 2-point conversion and the Eagles lose, that's all that you're going to hear about through the media and through the radio. That's it. That's all you're going to hear about. And it was one of those games because I fed into all these experts and these guys on the TV sitting behind the desks talking. Really, they're just like me and you. They don't know. But they're telling us all, oh, this is going to be a nasty game. It's going to be, a game where a field goal is going to win. Well, obviously, it wasn't. But, yeah, going into that thing, you're thinking a field goal would have won the game at that moment. And Doug's going for 2 points against a good defense. What is going on? By the way, before I forget, if you look up in the corner here, I have a little logo for the Fly Wild show. And John LeClaire of ECWA Pro Wrestling donated his time into making that logo for me. And I definitely appreciate his efforts there. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So look, man, before I go, again, thanks to everybody that's watched so far. We're going to Chicago. But before we can talk about that game and trying to predict what's going to happen. No, Chicago comes to us. We're done going places. They come to us. But look, there's a bigger game that's going to happen tomorrow and Tuesday, and that's the trade game. And rather, Howie Roseman shows that Joe Douglas wasn't really pulling the chains when he was here, and that Howie's got some pull and can make some good trades. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to feel great because if any team needs some help, some backups, some mercenaries, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So make it happen, Howie. Again, Jose, thanks for everything you contributed to the live stream. Everybody else that's watched, thank you guys. Carl Ray, Matt sitting in the hospital bed at after this cancer surgery, dude. I know everybody that's watching is going to be throwing some prayers up for you, and I'm glad that the Eagles could get you the win so you can feel a little bit better while you're sitting there, because I know, man, it's a long ass week when they lose. And it's good that they could put a smile on your face. I'm really happy that you could watch me run my mouth for a little bit about the team that we love. So yeah, guys, if you're not, please subscribe. Thank you for subscribing, Jose. Yeah, and dude, I'm gonna do a video. I do edited videos, kind of just, and it'll go over the Bills game in a little bit more detail, and then I'll preview anything that happens, obviously, of any trades. But my real goal here is to get enough subscribers to where I can live stream wherever. I'm going to be going to maybe the Bears game or the Seattle Seahawks game, or the Patriots game. It's going to be one of these games. I'm going to be going to the game. So I would love to be able to actually live stream while I'm there. I think that would be great. But I have to have 1,000 subscribers to do that, and I'm at like 160, which I love all y'all. But I'd love to, I'm not trying to do this to make money, man. I would love to be able to talk to you guys from wherever. So that's definitely the goal. So everybody that's watching, just hit that subscribe button, like, share, tell a friend. We're all in this thing together, man. We take these wins and losses just as much as these players, if not more. But I'm about to eat some dinner and watch some highlights and see what everybody else is saying. But yeah, Miles Sanders, X-ray results negative. He says he'll be fine. ... Hopefully. Let's hope we can have him in the lineup against the Chicago Bears next week, and another impact player, rather on the defense or on the offense. Presumably both. If I have to drive to Howie Roseman's house and convince him, maybe that's something I'll do. But thanks again, guys. I'm Chris Wild. This has been the Fly Wild live stream, and everybody have a great rest of your evening, as we will, because we won 31-13.